chasing shadows where the seeds are sown. Fingers tapping on a Ouija board, broken silence like a shattered chord. Eerie hums in the dead of night. Is it truth or just a trick of sight?
It went perfectly.
Yes, it ended at the right spot for a change.
Yes. Restream work with me. Yay.
Hey!
Well, hello everybody. Good evening and welcome to a new Things Paranormal Talks. Hi Noreen. I'm just starting. Noreen is
Oh my
fast.
God, she was
You're
waiting.
fast.
Yeah, it's our
Well,
first event.
it's one of the first fans we already had. So that's cool. And she's always
Yeah,
there. She's always there.
absolutely. Thanks for the
Well,
support.
yeah. Hello everybody and welcome back to the new Things Paranormal Talks. Tonight we have Christopher Macklin. Welcome.
Oh, guys, thanks for having me on. It's wonderful. Thanks, Mary. Thanks, Shane. Bless your heart. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you.
Absolutely.
Every time we do a live, we start by asking, "Who are you and what do you do?"
Oh, no. Well, I started my early life in corporations. I'll give you a quick story of it, if that's okay. It'll take about 7 or 8 minutes. Because I think it's important for a lot of people yeah, I was born in 1962. I'm 34. No, I'm 64. Born in 1962, and 2 days after. One thing I want to point out is that the deep state and the reptilian and all the agendas of them, they know who's coming on the planet. And I was born as Melchizedek Being. The 6 people there. 2 days after I was born, I had 8 strokes in hospital for a year. So I got out of hospital, and then before I was 4, I burnt my back so badly that I was in hospital for another year. So after the 4 years old, I spent 2 years in hospital. Insane, but anyway, they try and take you out. They create events. I know after that, I remember I was seeing things, and always remember when I was 4, I was lying in my bed, and I saw this reptilian thing. What the heck is that? Big old 7 or 8 foot reptilian thing. And I don't know, it looks like a dinosaur. Dad, there's a dinosaur in my room. He comes going, what, where? It's there, and where? Oh, we can't see it. Okay, so you go, well, go to sleep. You're dreaming, or you're having an illusion or whatever, And I realized at that age, I was looking at it and it felt really dark. One of the things about these reptilians is you can feel this really dark feeling in your chest. So out of nowhere, I just, get out of my room. It went. Oh, that worked. And I kept using that over and over again because they visit you, they try and scare you. And, right from an early age, I wasn't scared. I was just, I don't like it in my room. Get it out. Anyway, things moved on and went to school. Severe dyslexia. Terrible. Can't spell for toffee, still can't. And often people think, how the heck did you write 6 books? Well, I had a ghostwriter and I dictated the stuff. I'm good at dictating, but I'm not good at creating the information so people can understand it. So I'll just I'll just blur. There it is. And then the ghostwriter said, well, what do you mean by this? What do you mean by that? Explain this, explain that. And, she'll expand the book so we can actually publish it and people can make head nor tail of it. Otherwise, so yeah. Anyway, moving forward, dyslexia, of course, it was discovered, I think, when I was in high school, and I got some O levels, finished high school, and then I went for an apprenticeship, and then after that, I sponsored for a degree. My father said, do you know what? You're too thick to get a degree. Okay, I got a degree because I'm great at maths, brilliant at maths, terrible English. So then I got a master's in flight control and electronic systems, and then I got some top jobs in top companies as a consultant doing design of autopilots, different things. I worked for Philips, set-top boxes and different things like that, project managing and Marconi, aerospace, all these different companies. Anyway, so I went through life, and I remember sitting in the office, earned tons of money, tons of money. Is this all there is? There's got to be something better than this, Anyway, in 2000, of course, I struggled a bit because obviously, after the year 2000, there was a lot of people trained in software and electronics by then, so I couldn't get a job. So I started building a portfolio of houses and refurbing them and letting them out and all this thing. But in 2000, I had a reading, which is really interesting, off this lady. She was just outside Liverpool, and I went to a house in a place called Birkenhead. It's very rough, and anyway, I went there and walked in, and she was about 84, 85, and I sat down. She goes, right, let's start the reading. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you. So she had all these things written down. She goes, well, quite interesting. She goes, you're gonna get remarried. Okay. You're gonna move to America. Okay. You're gonna live off donations and do healing for a living. Oh, okay. Well, that sounds good, but is it gonna happen? Here we are. It arrived. I live off donations. I do healing for a living, completely full time, and yeah, life changed. Anyway, so what happened is 2007. I had this brilliant idea. I was refurbing houses. Let's do 176 apartments in Manchester. Great idea, not? Way out of my league. So I bought the land and got the bank set up, and then suddenly the bank phoned me up and they said, these apartments that are worth £220,000, they're now worth 90. So you've got 14 days to pay all our money back. What? Went completely bankrupt. Everything went, marriage split up, everything. And I was literally living out of a car. And now and again, someone would have an apartment. They said, you can stay here for 2 weeks while we're away, and then all this sort of thing. And, lived almost out of a car. But what a journey, because I was sponsored by different people. Things happened where I would get money like, oh, if you do healing, I'll take you for dinner, or if I'll give you a room in a hotel for a night. And it was an amazing time. But I did go 21 days. Someone invited me to Belize. Amazing experience. But I was meditating out there in a structure which is a Mayan temple, and it's called Antovich. It's just outside San Ignacio. And it blew me wide open. So there were, after that, they were showing me my past lives when I was back at the hotel. It was like a 3D thing, like, oh, okay, I did that. Oh, okay, I did that. And I think from that, quite frankly, who cares who you are in a past life? To me, it's what you're doing right now. That because our past lives for the last 4,000 years will come back many times to experience the differential, because the world's changed so quickly. And of course, we know all the history books are lies. Tartaria's missing. There's been wars, Syrian wars, different things. We've had technology before. Look at Atlantis. They blew up the crystals, destroyed a lot of things. It's like giving, at that time, it's like giving a 2-year-old, the keys to a Ferrari. We weren't ready. I think we're ready now to an extent. I mean, yes, there's a lot of people who aren't waking up, but sometimes you've got to decide, hey, it's time. So anyway, after that event, I met this lady in Belize. She said, come and stay with my father and I, in Hollister, in Missouri. So I came there, loved it, and decided to move here. And so I moved here, and then I opened the office for healing, because I was doing some small kind of events. These things where you pay $100 a table and you take your stuff there. I got slammed busy. I was busy so much. I was exhausted after the weekend. And I realized that I thought, well, why do people want to come see me? And it's all about your energy. It's all about the authenticity. So I built it up, opened the office, built it, they'll come, and they didn't. So I asked them, because their business, what's going on? It's within, get out there. Okay, so I carried on doing these little expos and built it up. And then I started going to the bigger ones, which cost thousands of dollars to go to. And it just created, kept creating momentum until today. But I did spend quite a lot of time during that time when I was bankrupt, meditating with my Melchizedek beings. Now, it sounds brutal, but when you find what starseed family you're from, if you're from and ask where is your soul from. Don't ask where you from, because you got bits of DNA from everybody, you know, Palladian, whatever. But if you say, where's my soul from, that's a different answer. And if you're a starseed being, your soul will be from Palladian, Arcturian, Lemurian, Atlantean, Andromedan, Lyran, wherever it is. So I found out I was Melchizedek, and I started meditating. Oh, come on, guys, you know, I need downloads, I need some help to understand the healing, and nothing happened. Month went by, nothing happened. And they're pretty brutal, these people, because they don't waste their time. It sounds awful, brutal, but it's what I've experienced. They don't waste their time unless you're absolutely committed. I was meditating 6 hours a day. I remember saying to them, look, guys, I'm not going to give this up, so whenever you're ready, you know. A few days later, bang, things started happening. I got downloads. I saw some crazy stuff, could do some crazy stuff, and things started changing after that. And little by little, I was meditating. Tell me how leukemia works. Tell me how cancer works. Tell me how cystic fibrosis. What about DNA damage? What about this and that? And then, you know, when I moved here in 2010, and I understood about a lot of diseases by then. But one thing I didn't know about is nanotechnology. So I met this lady called Dr. Hildy. You know, I won't give her full name out, but she's a world-leading industrial toxicologist, and she taught me about Morgellons and the nano and all this sort of thing. And I started working on that to try and understand how we could get out of the body, because the stuff has an interdimensional aspect. So if you send energy to it, it can switch dimensions, so you're not touching it, and then it switches back again. And I got a solution. So, you know, that's the protocol which we do now, and dragging it out of timelines. Anyway, moving on, you know, I went around America and just got bigger and bigger, and yeah, here we are. You know, it's been quite a journey, but they have tried to take me out 290 times. I mean, so, you know, people say, oh yeah, whatever. You know, all the different times. 2024 hit my cusps of my heart valve with a low frequency energy weapon, melts it together. Got really sick, didn't have time to heal it, so they replaced the valve. And I remember one time when I went to India, on the way back, you know, I went to Tibet. I thought I was going to meet the Dalai Lama, and I realized why I didn't. But yeah, thank goodness for that, because he's a CIA operative. But anyway, when I came back, I was at the Tibetan Northern Camp in Delhi, and I got this overwhelming thing like, you need to change your ticket. Why? You need to change your ticket. Why? Just change your ticket. Okay. You better be listening the third time. Okay, so I changed my ticket, and I delayed it for 4 days. On the day that aircraft was supposed to go off, it never took off. It went to the end of the runway, blew up, killed everyone on board. And I thought, wow. So, you know, that's another attempt. So yeah. So it's been quite a journey, to say the least. so just sharing that with you.
That has been quite a journey.
Absolutely.
I'm baffled.
And I'm still here. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. You won't take this one down. No.
No, it's not happening. You know, they've tried. I mean, I've been to expos where they've actually dusted me with a bioweapon. And I remember, you know, I was in LA at an expo there, and I was walking around, and suddenly I felt this very fine mist on my arm. What's that? You know, and I looked around, and who was that? You know, and I asked the beings, what's this? Oh, it's a bioweapon. Anyway, I got really sick real quick, and I went back to the room, worked on myself. And when I got back home, Dr. Hildy said, send me a sample of your hair and blood sample. What they found was 3 ingredients. 2 malaria, which is from rats, which MI6 used to take people out. It had a solvent to deliver it through the skin that was banned after 1960 for paint because it sinks through the skin too well. And the binding agent to bind it to the cells so it really hits you hard. So, yeah, so we have proof, you know. I'm not just saying this just to make it up. We have proof, and so that's why I don't go to expos anymore, because we're not doing that. So
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Why do you think they are trying to take you out?
Because they know what my ultimate reason for being here is, for healing people, but also we have a big project which is called the Pyramid Project, and that's interdimensional pyramids will be placed here in the next, who knows, 2 to 5 years. They're being built off planet by the Arcturians. They're going to be placed here on a golden curve, and the biggest one will be on a juncture of a ley line, so it can actually amp up the energy, and it'll work in conjunction with the golden dome, so that it's God energy, and it's going to really help the planet revibrate itself. Because I don't even know, but ley lines do move, and after a while, when like the Giza pyramids, they work kind of, but the ley lines have moved, so they're not on the juncture anymore, so these pyramids will be on the juncture, and it will really help the planet. And I've known about this for many years. So, and of course, the Cabal people, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, do not want that to happen. So,
Yeah, they will try to do anything to stop you.
absolutely.
In that regard. Yeah, that
Disgusting.
sucks. Yeah, it sucks.
I have a meaning about them.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying anything, but otherwise I will be thrown off of Facebook again. But,
Facebook jail again for you. Yep.
Yep, jail again.
When did you first start healing people?
When I actually moved here full time, and before that, I was wandering around different countries. After 2007, really, I really focused, because I realized I was meant to be doing the healing. So when I went bankrupt, people would sponsor me. I went to different countries in Europe, and I would meet groups of people and do healings on them, and talk to them about different things. And I realized that people were really interested. One thing I learned, which I think is a really important point, like writing books. When someone said, "Well, you won't get anywhere unless you write a book," oh no, you've got to be kidding. And so this lady, I went to Alaska, and she wanted to sponsor me to go around America, and she's going to put tens of thousands of dollars. And anyway, it didn't work out, thank goodness. She was just interested in me, not in my skill set. So, but one thing she gave me a big folder from a very well-known author, which I can't remember because I don't read books that much. And I opened the first page, and it was really interesting. Something she always stuck in my mind. She said the things that you take for granted are other people's kind of come to Jesus like wow factor, And I sat there and I thought, well, what do I know? And I was thinking about it. Actually, quite a bit, because you just take it for granted. You know what I mean? You know these things, and you don't talk about it because you know it. And when you're in front of people get really excited about the knowledge you've got. And I thought, oh wow, yeah, she's absolutely right. So, yeah.
Cool. Very
Absolutely. And when did you get interested in UFOs and UAPs and ETs?
All my life, actually, I've seen them. I mean, after 4 years old, I saw them. I realized they were there. And I realized even friends at school, what? You're a fruitcake. And I thought, I better stop talking about it, So it's what I call the duct tape syndrome. You put duct tape over your mouth, say nothing, and you're good to go. So, and I've had that most of my life because I think, if people aren't involved, they just look at you, with the fluoride stare thing, and I think you're nuts, And so I always now monitor the situation with people to see whether they have the understanding at least of some of it, And if they're not, then you just talk about the weather or whatever, and I don't go in depth at all, because otherwise people just think you're a complete fruitcake. I probably am. Who cares? I think fruitcake is great. I love it. Because for the normal people out there, we're all fruitcakes, We're all crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I spoke to my father once.
Yeah, we are
yet they're
special in some way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And yet they are very interested in every single subject we talk about.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They're
Well,
watching.
I remember speaking to my father one day on the phone, and he goes, "I want to tell you something." "What's that, Dad?" Because he always berates me. "You're too thick," whatever. He says, I actually think you're barking mad." Wow. I said, "That's the biggest compliment you've ever given me, Dad. Thank you so much." He goes, "What?" And he's the guy who phoned me up and said, "Yeah, we've got a problem, global warming." And, "Oh, what's causing that, Dad?" "Well, the cow's passing wind." I said, So you're telling me the cow's farting is creating global warming? He goes, yeah. I said, we solved it in America. He goes, what did you do? I said, well, give them tum-tums, settle the stomach, no wind, we're good to go, you know. And he goes, I'm going to write to my MP. So it's hilarious, some of the stuff, but, you know, you just think, oh, well, you know, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, we've heard about the cows here a lot.
Yeah, and the dogs and the farmers, not the explosions from cars and buildings and Tata Steel and the PFAS, all that shit.
It's
It's
unbelievable.
with the cows.
I'm shocked they don't have a monitor, you know, on your bottom, you know, so that on your bottom, so that, you know, every time you fart, oh, that's another $10, you know, tax and
Well, it's going to be a lot of tax for me then.
yeah, you just have to laugh at this stuff because otherwise you'd cry, wouldn't you? Like are you
Oh, yeah.
kidding? You know, so it's
Yeah,
amazing.
Yep.
absolutely, absolutely. They're completely mad.
Yeah,
They
but
are.
going back to UFOs, I didn't finish that, did I suppose? But I've seen them all, and I've got more involved with them, especially someone in Stardust Ranch, John. I've forgotten his second name, but really great guy. He's actually passed away a couple of years ago, but some time back, he phoned me up. He said, look, I've got the Greys coming in on portals. He had a horse sanctuary, and he was getting so upset because he'd wake up and his horse were like dismembered. You know, they'd eaten one of them, you know, and things like this. And he was so upset. I said, okay, look, I'll come out. So I flew out, went to his ranch, and I spent the whole weekend getting this portal open. And suddenly, bang, Sunday, I can't remember what time, but Sunday the portal opened and things were dropping out of it. Now, it's interesting because he said that normally the portal opens at like ground level. But as soon as the portal opened, the Arcturians turned up. About half a mile away, there was 3 ships, because they actually kind of, what would you say, they police what I do to make sure I don't get into trouble. So they always turn up if there's something that might be really crazy. So, you know, I asked them telepathy, I said, what are you guys doing? They said, we're here to make sure you don't do something stupid. I said, oh, well, that's a good idea. I said, so why isn't the portal open down here? They said, because you'd walk through it and do something daft. So we made sure it's moved. So this portal opened, and it took me about 40 minutes. And, you know, the ships were going like 1 to 3. After about, I don't know, 5, 6 minutes, the military aircraft, you know, the hot helicopters came out. They gave them a wide berth, but they were flying around them to make sure they were known. And anyway, I worked on this portal, shut it down, and then they disappeared. So I do have, I don't like to say watchers because watchers really are like Anunnaki and all this sort of thing, but they police what you do to make sure you don't get into trouble, you know, which is a good thing. So you always know somebody's got your back, you know. So that was interesting. I've had many, you know, different encounters with beings. I've seen Anunnaki floating around, and, you know, had to move them on. I do that every day, in fact, because a lot of people, I don't even know this, when they get sick, of course, the vibration drops. These beings are all around you. People think, oh, no, they won't attach to me. Of course they do, you know, and they attach to you like Anunnaki Draconians. They attach to you. They sit in the abdomen, hang on the shoulders and neck, so your shoulders and neck are tight. Abdomen's all bloaty because it's dropped the vibration of your lower intestine. So when you eat, as it gets further down, you know, drops the vibration of the pancreas, so your pancreatic enzymes aren't there. Blood sugar's probably off. Adrenals, you know, and liver, so you get brain fog because your liver's paralyzed. Tap in the lower back where the L4, L5 disc is. So that bulges out after a bit because it's energetic, of course, but it's gonna affect the disc, and it sends you negative thoughts. So if you go to work, you know, oh, the boss can't stand you, no one likes you. Why are you here? In fact, why are you even on the planet? You're pathetic. Da da da. You get all these horrible thoughts, but they're always you thoughts. So I always encourage people to really focus on what thought it is. Is it an I thought? And it's always you thoughts. And, you know, it's easy for people to, oh, that's my thought. Well, it's not. You know, it's nothing to do with you. And when you remove them, people feel so much better. So you've got Anunnaki, you've got Draconians, you've got snake beings like first and second dimensional snake beings, Carabeel type things, octopus type things. They lurk and they just block your meridians, and it's not so good having them in. You've also got archons, which is tied to the the Needly thing that's come out since 2019, if you see what I mean. And what happens, that actually alters the DNA. DNA, RNA, and immune system's all connected. So once they alter the DNA, your light body in the DNA is not compatible with your soul. It lifts out the body, income archons take you over. That's why a lot of people have ingested that sort of, you-know-what type stuff. They become checked out, but aggressive. They get very aggressive because you're talking to an archon, you're not talking to that person. It's actually really sad to see, you know, I've had so much involvement with this, especially lately. So, and then you've got the Luciferians, connected to the Vatican, you know, which is also holy as a hot dog poo, but never mind, you know, it's just my opinion. It's not judgment, it's actually observation, you know, because they worship Lucifer, and these things are very snarly. So when you go back to Jesus' teaching, and don't forget, I'm not a Christian, I believe in Prime Creator, and I believe in many paths. If people want to go on a path of religion, that's up to them, you know. I don't believe in religion, especially, you know, the Bible. People say it was the Word of God. Well, it's been rewritten several times by Constantine, who's a paedophile, and also by King James, a paedophile. So is it giving you the truth Word of God? I don't think so. But I love Jesus' teachings. I love all of them, Buddha's, everything. But, yeah, so, you know, I think it's really important to realize what these things are. And, you know, when Jesus was casting out demons and people were like contorting, they're Luciferians, because I've seen them. I was at an expo one day and this girl had 57 Luciferians in her. And it was insane because, you know, I went up to her, and what they do is when you take one out, I mean, she contors like, you know, took one out, sent it back up the portal, and then the next one starts cackling. You didn't get me. Oh, yes, I did, but you're the next, you know, and take that one out. And people walk about, oh, my God, what's he doing to her, you know. When we got to the last one, she's completely free, and it was just amazing. I've never seen so many entities in one person as that lady, and I can't even remember her name, which doesn't really matter. But yeah, that was an interesting time. So Luciferians are the ones which, you know, get you all, you know, raspy, nasty voice, and, you know, contort your body and those sort of things. So I've dealt with them all, and I would say most people who are sick, because the vibrations drop, they're not paying attention, will get an attachment. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yes, definitely. Are there any positive beings?
Oh, thank goodness there are, I'll tell you, absolutely. So the guys, you know, the benevolent guys, the good guys, are most of the Palladians, not all of them, but most Palladians are, you know, helping us here. They're actually doing a lot of work. You got Palladians, you got Arcturians. We work very closely with the Arcturians. They're the ones who are doing the Pyramid Project in the 12th dimension, and they do a lot of work. For example, I chaired the Galactic Federation with two other Melchizedek beings. In 2017, we had a meeting, and I was taken off. I was actually physically here, but soul was taken off elsewhere. We had a meeting, and they wanted to talk about the Greys abducting people. Now, one thing I always ask people, because they always say, well, why is these entities attaching to me? What's the difference between violation and education? So that's an interesting question. So if an entity attaches to you, is that a violation? No, it's education. Why is that? Because before you come down here, and I'd always remind people, if God wants volunteers, look, anyone volunteer for planet Earth, I think what happens is you say, I'll volunteer, so let's go to the bar first. So you have a few drinks and you feel like, oh, you know, right, look at what happens on planet Earth on the video screen. Oh, yeah, don't worry about that because you're all relaxed. And then when you get down here, you think, oh, my gosh, what was I thinking? But I mean, I love being down here, but it's not easy for anybody. But I think, you know, for starseeds, I think you get attacked a lot more because of, you know, you're here for a reason. Even just spread your beautiful light, you know. You're here for a reason. People say to me, well, I've got something big to do. Look, staying alive on this planet and being a starseed is something really big, you know. Don't ever underestimate it. You know, your beautiful energy, we need it down here. And I think it's really important. So, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, because I hear a lot of negative stuff about Greys and all those species, but less positive stuff. That's why I asked. So thank God.
Well,
There's a lot of
Well,
them.
you've got the Greys. I mean, you've got the tall Greys that's actually helping us in Antarctica. They're actually working with the military. They're helping with the weapons. They're also working with the Nordics down there. That's why Greenland's so important with the technology and with everything else, because our military here have got the technology that nothing else has because they're working so closely. Because what they're trying to do is, of course, dismantle the whole deep state system throughout the world, not just in America. And I think it's a great thing, and they're clearing out dumbs where all these satanic rituals happen, where all the trafficking and different things happen. So, but so positive ones: Palladians, Arcturians, Lemurians, Atlantarians, Andromedans. Obviously, Melchizedek. There's 5 people here. I've met all of them except 2. And one, they think she died, but she's still alive. So that'll happen in the future. So yeah, there's plenty of positive ETs doing a lot for us, stabilizing the planet because it's on a wobble. They're helping with some of the things like chemtrails. If they get too bad, they can clean it up. I mean, they could help clean up the planet. And people say, how are we going to get rid of all this aluminum in the soil and barium, strontium, nanotechnology? And the answer is it can be cleaned up in days. They have the technology. So, I think we've just got to get over this threshold where things change and things turn around, and it's coming pretty soon, I believe.
Yeah. Many people are waking up and seeing what is happening, and you see governments struggling.
I think they're all struggling different, I mean, I know in the Netherlands, I've got some friends there. I work with people as well. UK, Germany, everywhere, everywhere's the cabal now the cabal governments are really being front and center because they're going so against the people. It's like, what? This doesn't make sense. Why are you taxing the people more? What about the debt? The fiat currency is just nonsense. The debt's been laundered. That's all money laundering in people's pockets. Probably a small fraction. I mean, you look at the US, the infrastructure is terrible here. It needs updating, bridges, everything. And I think, where's all the money gone? Well, it's gone through people's pockets, NGOs, trafficking, cartels, you name it, it's gone there. So it's a really interesting time.
It is.
Definitely.
Yeah. Without dropping too deep into it. But there's this ex-CIA guy. He is diving into conspiracy and cover-ups, and it is interesting. I'm still flabbergasted it isn't blocked, because they are talking about cloud seeding, using cloud seeding as weapons against us. With all the chemicals, and it's on the TV.
Oh yeah, I mean, just lately they've released like what would you call it, a respiratory virus, and most of it's influenza A or B.
Yeah.
When all this stuff came out in 2019, I'm not going to mention the name, but everyone knows what it is. I was working with a lady. She was working with 500 laboratories all over the world. 1,600 aspirates, bits of stuff that came out of the lungs and whatever. They tested every single one. All they ever found is influenza A or B. They never found any SARS-2 or anything. So that was all, interesting.
Yeah, we have a veterinarian over here, and
Absolutely.
she worked at Wuhan, and she calls herself an expert on people's diseases and animal diseases, but oh my God.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane what they've developed. And also all the DOMs where they've got these like misfit of DNA combining, dogs with men with, bats with all sorts of things. Yeah, all these hybrids, and they're taking them out now because, I mean, it's just insane.
Over here, they accepted a bill, and it wasn't for abortion, and it was the right to abort human, animals, and hybrids.
Wow,
It's in it's in there,
that's
and
amazing.
yeah, and people told me you're crazy, so I showed them. I said, "Look, hybrids."
Yeah, that's amazing. And the fact that's in, they're obviously aware, So
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's all over here. I mean, the the problem with a lot of these, hybrids and things, they've designed them. So, for example, if the bullets won't even touch them. They need, plasma energy weapons, which we've got now, so they can start taking them out their dumbs. And a lot of them, there's also ones which perspire like acid that's so powerful it'll burn through armored vehicles and anything else. So these things are dangerous. So I think they're neutralizing them, so which is a good thing.
yeah.
Yeah. We have a viewer question slash thing she said. Noreen says the latest thing I've been reading about is boxes and ticks turning up in farmer fields. They reckon someone is trying to spread disease this way.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they certainly are. They're trying to get it in the animals, especially things like Lyme disease. I mean, you got alpha gal. Lyme disease is about 7 different things, and sometimes it doesn't operate in the way in some people it does in others. Like some people get alpha gal, some people get the brain fog, and it starts destroying the body. They're all stealth pathogens, which is
Yeah,
that's something. But
yeah,
but now they're putting all these things in ticks. I mean, I've noticed over here. We've had a look at it, and there's an influenza, it's being sprayed, chemtrails, and people are getting sick. But of course, they go straight back to that. Oh my God, I've got this thing in 2019. No, it's just a bit of flu. It's okay, You're
yeah.
going to live, But
Mhm.
people are scared to death now, and they've started wearing masks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I
as
mean,
soon as
80 micron hole, three
yeah,
or 4 microns, a pathogen or whatever. So it's just like you might as well not put it on. So But yeah, it's
yeah,
insane.
they're trying to spread fear so people are scared, so they don't use their brain, and they can be controlled.
Oh yeah,
And
Yeah.
they want us to eat grass, so no meat. And I read about 2 or 3 cases of someone who's allergic to meat.
yeah. That's alpha gal. It's a strain of Lyme disease. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's
Yeah.
I mean, the only way to get that is a stealth pathogen. I mean, we have a protocol to strip it out of the body where you split the timeline and separate it on timeline. So what we do is split your timeline in two, put you on a path of divine complete wellness where all the pathogen, stealth pathogen nano is out the body. On the other timeline, we separate it out and lock it on a timeline sun. So if you've got these particles that like change dimension, when they come back, they're stuck on this timeline to the sun. So as time goes on, all the stuff comes out. But yeah, alpha gal, yeah, there's many, there's a number of strains of Lyme disease. But of course, these particles are bound with Borrelia, which is the stealth pathogen of Lyme. So we can go into that in more detail in the future if you want
yeah,
to, because it makes a good show. But
absolutely, and interesting.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So yeah, but they're still spraying. I mean, what I'm shocked about is that, and well, not shocked. What I'm disappointed about, I think, is the fact that these haven't stopped in America. And I don't understand why. Because if I was, you know, Bobby Kennedy, the first thing I'd do is get rid of all these chemtrails, full stop. And it's still going on, but it's operated, of course, by DARPA, which is the deep state budgets and everything else. So maybe it just takes time to drill down in these agencies to find out who exactly is running the thing. So
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. In Belgium, they passed a bill as well to block the sun, so they're spraying a lot.
I know they are, yeah. Especially,
Yeah,
I've heard it from Scotland is one of the worst as well. They're just spraying all over the place.
yeah,
It's terrible. I mean, here, where I live in Missouri, we're on 40 acres. We built the house with the Amish. And actually, the spraying has almost stopped. I've not seen it for about 2 or 3 months, so we're
Oh,
very lucky. It's in the middle of nowhere, but I know in big cities like New York, they're spraying constantly.
Yeah.
So yeah, and of course it's got this nanotech in it, so it sinks through the skin. It's 10⁻⁹ small. It's interesting because people are getting myocarditis with it, the nano in the heart muscle. So what's happened is they go for a scan, a normal scan, nothing wrong with your heart. Well, you can't see it because it's 10⁻⁹ small. You need a electron microscope to see it, So yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to say we can go into that in a future thing.
absolutely. We're dropping
Definitely.
back to the extraterrestrials.
Well, that's why I love healing because I love seeing people getting better because they feel. I mean, they feel powerless. The food's contaminated, the water's contaminated, the air's contaminated.
The
Even
food,
frequency, everything.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
terrible.
yeah. Just popping into my head, the bells. All over the world, they take down church bells, and they all had a certain frequency. And
442 hertz. Yeah.
yeah, um, does this give them more power to get us sick by removing all those bells?
Yeah, absolutely. Because those bells would resonate. I mean, when things resonate with your body, of course, they'll vibrate all your cells and everything else, and you feel better. And I love bells, and it's so sad that they've taken them all. Now I believe they're starting to put them back here, but let's see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
The,
can hear the bells every day in my town. So no
that's
worries
brilliant.
here.
Over here, over here they're gone, and
I
I understand why they removed most of the bells and pizza because the tower, if the bells were ringing, it would come down because of the different frequencies.
yeah.
But I don't hear the bells much here.
No, I mean where I'm outside Branson, about 12 minutes away, and there is no churches here or bells. It's but in Branson I've not really heard them either. So I think, but they're more modern things. I mean where you are, and of course the UK, everywhere, it's got more ancient sites, and so that's where the real bells were there. So yeah,
mm,
it's amazing.
You also work with abductees and helping them to rebalance. Can you give a glimpse what you do to get them back into society and having a great life?
Yeah, I mean abductees. What's interesting with the grey reticular, the negative ones, the grey reticular were abducting people. Why did they get permission? Well, of course, it started with Hitler. Here's some, technology, and we'll abduct your people in Germany. And then it spread all over the world with paperclip. It came here to America. And so they signed a deal because they have to get some signatures to say you can do it. But what right of the government to sign on your behalf saying that you can abduct you? And the answer is that there isn't any authority. And so, and I'll come back to that meeting I had. I forgot to finish that. So anyway, so they're abducting people. So what they were doing is abducting people, stealing eggs and sperm, and then they'd try and start raising them in plastic pods. But that didn't work. Why is that? Because one thing that you shouldn't have to teach this, but if you want a proper human being, you need a woman's womb with the God energy around it, which you can't replicate in a plastic pod. So of course they were getting all these AI robotic type humanoid things. So in the end, they thought, well, how do we get over this? So what they were doing then is they would abduct a woman, they would seed her, they would make her pregnant, put her back down here, and then leave it 4 or 5 weeks with monitors in her, and they'd put little, implants in, and they would read them. And as soon as the soul came in, they'd take the woman back up, take the fetus out, and then put her back down. I've had so many women say, well, I think I was pregnant, and then I wasn't. I don't understand it. And I took a test, and it said I was, and then I wasn't. And well, you're being abducted, and they're taking it back out. So going back to 2017, the meeting, difference in violation education. So the thing is about, when you know what's going to happen on this planet, like with the reptilians attaching to you, you've got frequency, all this sort of thing, you have the power of maps of intent, which is prayers, to actually get rid of them. You have the power within you. And so what you have to do is learn how to do that, and that's part of the growing process. It's a classroom. But what happens is mid-sentence, somebody comes and says, well, I want to abduct your people, let's sign with the government. Is that a violation of education? That's a violation because they don't have your permission. You've given your permission before you come down here to be in the classroom and experience all the horrible stuff. But, with that, you haven't given permission. And so it was decided in 2017 to sweep the grey reticulars off the planet. So they did. The Arcturians took them out. But what happened is that they were banned from this time space. But what happens if they actually appear in your house in a portal? They're in the same space but different times. So they got over that. So now they're coming through portals. And people say, well, the thing is they smell like sulfur. They don't wash. So, they're very stinky. So people in the house go, God, the whole bedroom stinks. Or, my living room smells like gone off drain. I said, oh, that'll be a portal. So you shut it down and that smell goes, So if you ever have these things, at least insist that they have a shower before they come into your house. Because they're really stinky beings, they don't wash. They don't, it's amazing.
My poor daughter.
Oh my
My
God.
daughter has the most amazing sense of smell. She smells dirt or whatever from miles away.
Yeah, I have the same. I have the
Yeah.
same. I can if a dog poops, I'm in a big field, I can smell it. Where's that come from? What's that smell of poop? Oh, it's the dog right in the corner, about
Yeah.
1,000 yards away. It's crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I think Starseed people do have heightened senses, whether it's smell, whether it's clairaudient. I can hear frequencies as well when they switch them on. I can hear the buzzing, and people think it's tinnitus, but it's not. It's clairaudience. So yeah, and I have the ability to tune my eyes out and look through the veil. One day we were sitting on the front porch, and I thought there's somebody in, so I tuned in, and there was a horse and a cowboy in our front yard, and as soon as I started looking at him, he turned around and he said, oh, so got on his horse, put his hat on and rode away. so we've got a lot of Native Americans here as well, so which I love. And I always leave them here because if they're not doing you any harm, then just let them be here. It's their land as much as yours, so yeah, it's really interesting. But
Yeah,
of course they're
it is.
passed away, but the Native Americans do a ritual where they insist they stay, so they stay between worlds and look after the land. And that could be okay, but sometimes if they see you building on it or doing something, they can get really aggressive because, that's not okay in their book. So before we built this house, I asked permissions and they were okay with it, so yeah.
Perfect. Good evening, Kate.
Yeah.
We just had a good evening from Kate. He came in a little. I had a question. I forgot it again. But they tell me I don't have ADHD or ADD, so that's
Pretty remarkable.
yeah.
Well, I have ADHD, I've got OCD, and I've learned to manage it though, so. But I think the reason for that, the interesting thing about it is that Starseed people, because you're an empath, you take things personally. You know what I mean? Like if someone talks behind your back, you take it personally. When I was younger, about a week ago, when I was in my 20s, if someone talked behind my back, I would almost throw up. Like, how can you do that? And now I've learned to manage it because there's a certain thing called the couldn't give a shitometer, and when that blows up, you don't really care what people think of you, because I think you need to learn. Yeah, I'm a good person. I love what I do. I'm doing my best on this planet. And therefore, if it's not good enough for somebody, well, that's what's within them, their trauma. And I think when you learn that, but as Starseeds, we ingest so much emotion. You're ingesting like, I don't know, 200,000 layers over your lifetime, too much around your heart. So that emotion will affect your glands, like your adrenals, like glands in the brain. So your neurochemical balance goes off. You know, like the serotonin, GABA, dopamine, melatonin, if they're all off, you get things like PTSD, anxiety, ADD, ADHD, OCD. Excuse me. So yeah, I think a lot of Starseed people get that because you're different. And people say, "Oh,
Yeah.
I never fit in." You know, I don't fit in the outside world. Don't even try because you're not like the other people. It's not you're better or worse. You're just completely different. So don't try and integrate to people that are really not going to get you because all you're doing is you're going to start shaming yourself. And I think we've all done that. You know, I mean, I don't fit in anywhere. I mean, I remember going out with a Southern Baptist couple, and I was sitting there with my wife, and what do you do for a living? I thought, oh no. So, well, I do healing. Is it in the name of the Lord? Kind of, you know. And then I thought, let's just tell them how it works. So I started talking. The fluoride stare came. Did we ever get invited for dinner again? Now, let me see. That'd be a nope. So, because, you know, but I always tell the truth now. I'm not bothered. And if people don't like you or they don't like what you're doing, well, that's okay. Then, you know, you can love people. It's like Jesus' teachings. Love people, don't judge them. But at the same time, you can set boundaries where, you know, I love you, but at a distance because, you know, people around you in a circle, you want good people who love you and you can have a
Yep.
laugh with and enjoy yourself. And most people listening on here probably don't have many friends. I offered that any. I have people I can phone up. But here, if you'd say, well, Chris, you know, if you want to go for a pint tonight, who would you invite? That'd be nobody because I don't have anyone in the vicinity. It's amazing, really.
It is. Yeah. Oh my God. So me.
Yep. It makes
It's
sense.
so me as well. In England, they call it Billy No Mates. You know, Billy
Okay.
No Mates. You got your Billy with no mates. But I think
Yep.
we're all like that, and I think as you get older, you get more picky about the people you do want, not because they're good or bad, because they just fit in. You can have a laugh, you can enjoy yourself in your circle, and there's very few of them. We've got
Yeah.
a few good friends. That's about it, you know. So yeah,
Yeah.
and that I just encourage people never shame yourself because you don't fit in, and it's a lonely journey as well, of course, because how many people do you really know you can tell about this stuff? Probably not many, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You got the question because she came in later. Kate asked, "Where do you live?"
Where do I live? I live in Missouri. You know, I'm a British import in America. I actually became a citizen in 2017, and I live in Missouri. You know, so I live near Branson, Missouri. Branson's like the poor Las Vegas. You know, it's got theaters, but you know, there's has-beens, wannabes. There's not is-beings. So you don't get stars down here. You get stars who are kind of really old now who just try and carry on. But you know, it's a good. I mean, Branson I don't particularly like very much, but I live just on the outskirts, and the ministry building is also on the outskirts in Hollister. So yeah, and I love it out here. We've got 40 acres of trees. We built the house bang in the centre of the trees, and with the work I do, it really helps because you don't feel the collective energy so much because the trees like block it, you know. So for me, it's really good. It's a saving grace and a safe haven, and I love it.
Yeah, I can understand. We got a fellow Brit in the USA from Kate, of course. Quality is always better than quantity, says Noreen. Kate says, same mate. I'm in Illinois and a Brit. So that's not that far off, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
And
no.
Noreen asks you if you are from Merseyside.
I'm actually, I was born in Chester, yeah, Merseyside. I know why. There's a slight Liverpudlian twang, but I was 20 miles from Liverpool, 30 miles from Manchester. Chester's an Edwardian city. It's actually a beautiful city, but I haven't been back there 5 years. I haven't seen my grandkids. And the problem is I don't trust planes because bits fall off them. I don't trust air traffic control. I don't trust anything at the moment. So, and I think with what's coming, you know, my advice to people is do not go anywhere. Stay at home because when this transition happens, it's going to be big. And I think it's better to be at home where, you know, you can navigate yourself, you know, you've got food in and things like that. But yeah, Chester, yeah, in northwest of England.
Yeah.
Now you come with this news. We're flying in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So they have to wait 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
You better wait up there.
Stall the whole thing for 2 weeks.
Not.
Oh, bless you. That's so funny.
Oh, we'll be fine. It's just the North Sea, so we will swim back if
Yeah, you can
necessary.
swim
Nope.
back. That's no
Nope.
problem.
Nope. I'm not swimming.
Why not? You can go on my. You can go. We do piggy all right.
It's it's too far. There are swimming sharks. It is
You and your
cold.
sharks.
No way. No way. I'm going to hitchhike and I go back with the train.
Ah, we'll walk through the tunnel.
Oh, perfectly
Yeah.
fine.
That'll take a while.
Doesn't matter. We'll still get there.
Yeah. Oh my God.
All right, we are almost at an hour. For the viewers and the listeners, if they want to follow you, where can they follow you?
Well, if you go to the website, it's globalenlightenmentproject.com. We've got all the things there. And one thing I always point out, we do healings twice a week, general healing group, where it covers a lot of things, cancers, different things. And that's on the website if you want to join it. It's 5 p.m. Central Time. And so it's pretty late for if you're in Europe. And 11 a.m. That's on Thursday. So 5 p.m. Central Time on Thursday, 11 a.m. Central Time on Sunday. Saturday. So if you want to join that, that'd be great. And like I said, we have the ceremony on the 20th of June, which is to call out all the satanic stuff. I would love it if people could be part of it. It's free to join. And, we call out big tech, big pharma, everything else. It's far more complicated than that. And basically bring them before God for justice and release them to God. It breaks all those spells, curses, rituals down. So it's going against the cabal satanic stuff with God stuff, which is great. So you can sign up for that 20th of June. That's 2 p.m. Central Time, which will be 9 your time, I think, wouldn't it? In Netherlands, and
Yep.
8 o'clock
8
in the
UK.
UK. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But we
So-
are in Scotland, the 20th.
Yeah,
Well,
let's
so-
do 8. We can try.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can try. I mean, be
We have
part
a
of it.
connection.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to, and we have meditations, we do one-to-one, we do specialized groups, we do many things. Specialized groups is where I talk to everyone, but we have up to 15 people on, and then once I've talked to everyone, got the update, we do the healing after. So yeah, you can join them, so, and I think, the moment I see that because it's so difficult, we're really helping people with massive lows, even, half awake people who are spiritual, they're still getting massive anxiety. And, because the collective anxiety, I don't know, you guys feel it, it's off the charts at the moment.
Yeah.
So,
For a lot
and
of
so,
people, yeah.
well, we have a map of intent. I don't know, I can do it. Maybe it's worth doing it if you've got 2 minutes. So we've got a prayer to remove it. So it goes like this. And it really helps. I'd say it several times a day. It's on the website and printed off. And it goes like this. So what you do is ground yourself. I am of God. I ground myself to the earth. And then cup your hand near your heart here and say, Dear God, this collective energy within my emotional body, and then grab it, is not for me to process right now. Turn it round and say, therefore, I send it back to you, God, to be transmuted and dispersed in only the way in how we thank you, God, send you your unconditional love, so be it. Great prayer, really works. And also people getting upset by the chemtrails, do the chemtrail prayer. Look at the chemtrail, say the prayer, because it transforms it into just basically evaporated water. And what you'll find, if you say that, 5 miles around your house, it will clear. And that's happened. I've tested it in Australia, UK, Scotland, all over Europe, with different people. It works, but you've got to say it with intent. That's the thing about power of prayer. You've got to have that inner strength. So, yeah. So, I hope that works. Hope it helps.
Interesting.
I'm definitely going to try that, of course.
Yeah.
I'll try everything.
Exactly.
One more thing. Noreen says, Chester isn't too far from me. I'm in Bromborough.
Oh, Bromborough. Yeah, I know Bromborough. Yeah. So next time I go back, bless her heart. But I'm in obviously Missouri, so it's like 4,500 miles away. So it's good.
It's
A little bit
this far.
too far to walk, you know. No. But I'll be back soon. You know, I miss Chester because I was born there. You know, so
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, bless you.
understandably. Well, Christopher, thank you so much for joining us, and we of course hope to see you back in future, near future.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Bless your hearts. It's been wonderful. I hope it's been
Yeah,
okay for you guys.
It's
yeah,
been wonderful. I like these
absolutely, and
conversations, definitely.
interesting.
Yeah.
Bless your hearts.
Yeah, we have tons of topics we can
Oh
discuss
yes,
with you.
we seriously do. Yes, we do.
Absolutely,
We
we
do.
can really focus on some more. Bless your heart.
Definitely. So again, thank you so much for joining us, everybody who is in the chat and did talk to us. Thank you so much for joining us and interacting. We will see you next Wednesday, the 10th.
Yeah, shall I spoil the surprise or keep it?
Just keep it a surprise. Let them.
Okay.
Wait a little.
Um,
I like doing that.
I can say it's a gentleman psychic.
It is, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's very broad. All right. As always, we are going to end in our backstage area, and we will end with a little bit of music before we go out. So, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.
God bless.
See you next week.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.